No one else will defend the world than I must.
Greetings Multiverse, and welcome to our Justice League reactions video. Seen it! God, it's brilliant! Yeah! That's my reaction. Goodbye. That's all you need, sorry. Oh boy. I am so happy right now to have seen that movie. I am going to see it again, but that's my initial reactions. Wow, I am so happy with DC right now. It wasn't perfect. I'm going to be absolutely brutal. I am a critic still. I'm not just some mad reactionary on YouTube. I actually do this stuff for a living. And I have to admit, it's not perfect, but it's very much a DC fans movie. And as such, as a DC fan, I am utterly thrilled by it. And loved pretty much every moment of it. I'll leave the criticisms till last. I'll just go through little bits that I really liked. Let's start off with the characters. Batman. God, he's so Batman. He didn't quite shine as much as some of the other characters. He was very much sort of the leader. He was almost in the background up against all these really sort of killer monsters from outer space. He doesn't quite work as well, but he was very much the heart of the team, and his bit right at the beginning with that weird, supposedly criminal guy, we're not actually sure, was just great. And there's some superb Batman moments, and he had his theme tune from Batman 1989. That's all I've ever wanted from a Justice League movie. To have the Superman theme, the Batman theme, the Wonder Woman theme, all in once. I'm surprised Danny Elfman didn't use his Flash one as well. Wonder Woman was just straight up perfect. I like that moment where she nearly kicked the crap out of Bruce Wayne for mentioning Steve Trevor. It was great. She was really powerful. She felt like the heart of the team, but still like a warrior rather than a leader, which she is, but she's always the first into the fray, and that the movie always got right. Even Zack Snyder got her right in Batman v Superman, which I still like as a movie, but this was far better for me. This was far more Justice League, frankly. But I particularly like that scene in the beginning with her just kicking the crap out of guys. Makes it seem like she can move really fast though. That's the only sort of character. She's not really a fast mover. Not like Superman, but there were moments when she could just move at super speed, but that's minor moments there. In case you didn't know, spoilers. Spoilers. I'm going to put a big warning across the screen right now for any further talk. Let's say Superman, shall we, before I talk about anyone else. I was thrilled by Superman in this movie. Despite the CGI moustache removing on many scenes, which I'm sorry Warner Brothers, was obvious. You could tell every single one there was a reshoot because it had Superman in it and had a CGI face Superman in it that didn't quite look perfect. I can't believe we're reduced to that. I was with some people who didn't know about the mustache thing, and they still acknowledge it. So, great Superman involved, and I'm glad he's more involved than I thought. The ending was a bit sort of Deus Ex Machina with him, in the fact that he was literally God just coming in and just sort of smacking everyone about. Okay, I might as well say it now. My one criticism of the movie is that the ending was a bit too easy. Once Superman got involved, Steppenwolf was just defeated. He had no chance against Superman whatsoever. I was kind of hoping they'd bring in Darkseid just for like a boss fight at the end, him against Superman, just to give Superman some sort of his level threat to face against, because that's always been the problem with Superman, is sort of leveling up the threat so that all the other characters in the Justice League could have something to do, but Superman also doesn't just come in and save the day, which he did here. In every way possible it was possible to save the day. I don't mind that, but at the same time you do have to up the threat once Superman gets involved, and they kind of didn't do that. They just had him save the day and made the rest of the Justice League look a bit unnecessary in places. But I'm happy for that, but that was very much a build-up for the next Justice League. Can't wait to see what another Superman movie with this Superman is like. And I love that moment of him coming back to life and being evil and mad, Lazarus pitted basically, for all intents and purposes. Do you bleed? Beautiful, beautiful moment. And that bit where he just turned to look at Barry Allen when he was trying to run past and Barry Allen realised that he can move at the same speed as him, basically. Which brings me on neatly to The Flash, who I've got playing up there with a different hat, but apart from that, that's the Justice League outfit I've got on there. I earned the hat at the end of this video. I loved him. He was pretty much the heart of the movie, especially the heart of the humour in the movie, and I really enjoyed Ezra Miller as the Flash. He was perfect in many ways. He was very different from Grant Gustin. He was a bit more underconfident. He hadn't really fought any supervillains or anything like that. This was a Flash at the beginning of his career and on the TV show without any sort of support from Star Labs or anyone. He was so funny and he was so underconfident. He's almost the audience surrogate, even though in some ways he's the most powerful one. Cyborg, less so. I mentioned Star Labs there, and I'm not so sure about Cyborg. He was a bit sort of dry. He almost did the Martian Manhunter role, but without any humour whatsoever. Hopefully they'll build up his humour side. I mean, look, if he does show up in the Flash movie like everyone suspects, or rumoured at least, then good, because I think the one scene that the two of them shared together when they were digging up Superman's body, that was actually quite sweet, basically, and funny, and they seemed to work well with each other. That one booyah at the end. I'm hoping that's setting up for more humour from him and bringing out his humanity a bit. Well, I did like the scene where he lost control against Superman because he just saw him as a threat. That was a bit Blue Beetle. That actually reminded me of Blue Beetle more than anything else, being unable to control his mechanical parts. Not bad, but he was certainly the lesser Justice League member. Not as funny as the rest. Which brings me to Aquaman, who is probably my MVP. Making him cool, sexy, brilliant, a great fighter, super powered, and a little bit cynical about the whole thing, and also, what the hell? A bit like Craig from South Park reminds me. They just said, what is going on? Why are you dressed like a bat? Oh, whatever, who cares? That sort of humour was very much needed and beautiful. I loved Aquaman. I loved Jason Momoa as him, and I can't wait to see the Aquaman movie next year now. It looks so great. That brief glimpse that we got of Mera, I'm not so sure. She was a bit dry. Pun not intended until I said it. More excited for Justice League 2 and Man of Steel 2 and The Batman and Flashpoint, but Aquaman's next year, and that's the only DC movie we're getting next year, unfortunately. Hopefully we will. Let's hope Justice League actually does really well. Oh, it's a little bit touch and go. Coming out so soon after Thor Ragnarok, that was a bit of a misstep, but then they can't really delay it any further because of Star Wars. Oh. This is the downside about all of this. This is my own real concern, is that it won't do as well as me or Warner Brothers are hoping, even though it's a really good film and the critics aren't helping. I am one of them, and I do sort of understand some of their concerns, not 90% of them. It was a really good, fun movie, and I don't understand the problem with it. It was everything a Justice League movie really should be. It could have done with a better threat. Oh, that's okay, fine. Steppenwolf was the big weak link of the movie, if anything. They should have had Darkseid, or if they wanted sort of like sub-level Darkseid, they should have done Granny Goodness and the Furies. That could have given several Justice League members people to fight. Granny Goodness is so much fun to watch. Imagine a tall, elderly lady kicking the crap out of the Justice League. That would be hilarious to watch, and lots of fun too. And combined with the Furies for each of them to fight, that would up the threat quite a lot as well as the Parademons, and that would have been more interesting. But instead they went with Steppenwolf, who literally no one on the planet, no matter how big a DC fan, cares about. Within the ranks of the comics or the shows or anything, Steppenwolf is barely in anything. And no one cares about him because he's just like a sub-level general who just helps Darkseid out or just commands his forces, and isn't that interesting? There's several apocalyptian guys from Darkseid onwards that are much more interesting than Steppenwolf, but they don't use him, and the fact they CGI'd him as well is even more annoying to me. He looks like a CGI video game character, unfortunately. That is the big problem with Justice League, and I think that's part of the reason why it's got the reviews it has from certain places. I haven't really read the reviews because I don't really want to. I don't want to be angry. But that's probably a large part of the reason. He's just not big enough a threat. You could say that about 90% of the Marvel movies, to be honest. And at least he had some sort of motivation, some sort of army, some sort of global threat. And he did say he was working for Darkseid at one point. But he's very much left over from when the Justice League was a two-part movie. And the second part was supposed to be Darkseid. But they haven't gone ahead with that and just gone with Justice League 1. And so they've left him in it, and that was a bad decision. That's the one big bad decision the movie made. I don't think it made any other really bad decisions. That's the only one that's left the movie not as satisfying as it could possibly have been. But nonetheless, it's a minor thing, especially when the rest of them are so much more interesting. You just want a threat for these guys to fight. Green Lantern! Green Lantern! It was not the Green Lantern. As rumoured, there was a Green Lantern being in the movie, but not Hal Jordan or not any of the Green Lanterns we know, and that rumour was correct. I don't know where it came from, but I was so happy I nearly cheered in the theatre. If I hadn't been with people who would have laughed at me, I probably would have, and I still nearly did anyway. Just to see a Green Lantern acknowledged in the movie, that's enough. I was expecting one of them to appear in the end credit sequences, which I will mention shortly, but never mind, just a brief appearance of a Green Lantern in that fight with Steppenwolf was great. And also in there, was that Shazam, or the original, or even the Wizard Shazam as a young man? That very much looked like him. A guy who wields lightning. Yes, I think it could be, it's either him or Thor, and I don't really want to think about that. Don't know who the other one was. One with sort of the golden bow. I think that could have been like Athena or something like that. But interesting. Well, it could have been Zeus, I suppose, wielding the lightning like that. You mentioned that the old gods being dead. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright. Let's talk about the end credit sequences. I was very happy by them. I think they should have swapped them around a little bit so the important one was right in the middle for all the poor people who did not want to watch to the end credits, to the very end of the extra long end credits, which is fair enough. The important one should be in the middle. But okay, we'll start with the silly one, which came in the middle. Flash versus Superman in a race. That was just lovely, and I suspect that might have been Joss Whedon putting that in there. But it was lovely. That was just sweet all the way. Utterly irrelevant, and I kind of wish they kept that for a deleted scene or just something on the DVD and put something of more substance or something of Green Lantern in the end credit sequences. But hey, have a fun little sequence to send people home happy. That's good, just to add to the ending a little bit more. And then you get the important one right at the end, which we will be doing a video on. Lex Luthor breaking out of prison. I did say spoilers at the start. Lex Luthor breaks out of prison, of Arkham Asylum specifically, and rendezvous on a big yacht full of women with Deathstroke. That was the shocker for me. That they actually carried on with Joe Mantegno's, I hope I pronounced his name right, Deathstroke, especially when they were rumoured to have been cutting him out. Oh, I was so happy to see him, and the fact that he might be in the Legion of Doom, or the Injustice League as you might want to call it. I prefer Legion of Doom. With Lex Luthor and Deathstroke being part of it. Who else could be in it? We're going to have a video, hopefully this week, on our guesses and, well, our educated opinion on who could be in the Injustice League. Quick note on the soundtrack. I love Danny Elfman, unapologetically. I love the way he used old theme tunes like Superman, Wonder Woman and Batman, his own Batman and the John Williams Superman one in there. Not enough though. He did use the Man of Steel one occasionally. Good. He's good at that. He's good at weaving themes in. He didn't use them enough really. And I'm surprised he didn't use his own Flash one. We didn't really get an Aquaman or Cyborg one, which is a little bit disappointing. And I think he could have done with a bit of a stronger actual Justice League theme for the whole league, a bit more adventurous one. It was a little bit generic in parts, and I'm saying this as a huge Danny Elfman fan. Could have been better, but it could have been far worse. He didn't have to reuse his old themes, and he did, and I was so happy to hear them. Overall, I give this movie, I'm going to give it an A as a DC fan. It could have been an A+ if they had a better villain and a slightly less easy ending, but overall an A. I loved it. And I will be going to see it at least once more. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you wish it was a bit more dark like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel? Does it feel tonally out of place? Did you just love it entirely? Or did you dislike it even? Just in general? Leave a comment below with your opinion and I'll make sure to respond. But I want to see what other people thought about it. I want to see what other fans thought about it in particular. Forget the critics. Forget the people like me. If you're not a DC fan, I don't want to know your opinion, frankly, of this movie. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe to DC Comics Gamer for regular DC Comics videos, everything on Justice League, Injustice 2, and everything else from the world of DC. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.